Earlier this week or last week, I shared um, information about the Science Central proposal being bad policy. So this is a follow-up video showing why the building on the Science Central and moving it to Ontario Place is bad policy. The TRCA, Trent Region Conservation Authority, released a statement showing that there was no consultation. So I'll show my screen. So there was an article from the Trent Region Conservation Authority saying that called TRCA responds to Ontario's Science Central announcement. And I can go down on this. And it's saying that the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority, as well as the City of Toronto, have jointly leased the property to the Ontario Science Centre for a 99-year term, which expires on June 30th, 2064. So there was a problem with ending the lease. There's also been no conversations have been held between the province, the City of Toronto, and the TRCA regarding the province's desire to move the Science Centre, build housing on the lands, and or cancel the Science Centre lease agreements. These are things that should happen prior to public announcements. 81 acres of land is owned by the TRCA. And as I stated previously, there's wetlands in the area. And this is a map of the floodline of the area. Large sections of the area would be impacted by possible flooding. So this is a bad area to build housing on. There's also a subway going in the area, so there needs to be space available for parking or probably like existing space for people that are commuting to the transit station, or at least buses. So there was even less space available. Some of the Science Centre is actually built on top of the hazard areas, which I think this statement gets into. So the lands, the TRCA lands include portions of the Science Centre, the Don River, and West Don Trail section of Seaton Park, and are home to ravine lands, variable green space, and sensitive habitats. So there's a slope in the ravine. You can see the slope from going from 3 to 6 on this graph. Um, the back portion of the front entrance building overlooks the ravine. Front entrance, so the blue section overlooks the ravine. The entirety of the Science Central lands beyond the front entrance building, which includes from left to right the bridge, the additional portions of level 1 and 2, and all of levels 3 to 6 of the Science Central, which are located exclusively within the ravine. So the from left to right. So the bridge, which is this yellow item, can I highlight it? Open toggle cursor. Oh, I don't know if I can highlight on photo. No, I can't highlight on photos, but I can highlight text. Yeah, so the bridge, additional portions of level 1 and 2. So after the bridge, all of levels 3 to 6, all TCOA property, and they are located exclusively within the ravine. So the most of the Science Central building itself is not able to be adequate housing. And if it is, if the province is considering building housing on that site, um, they would have to eliminate the slope or eliminate habitat, um, which is important for wildlife. The ravine lands are considered hazardous due to the steep slopes and the floodplain associated with the West Don River. So you don't want houses that flood. That with climate change and effects of climate change increasing, there's going to be an increase frequency of floods as a result um, of climate change. And with housing, there's going to be an increase in impermeable asphalt. So water has to go somewhere, and if homes are in the way, it might go into people's basements, which will reduce affordability because some people choose to rent out basement apartments, or live in basement apartments. Um, and if you have flooding in the basement, then you have mold, you have, and so that causes health impacts, or and you can't really live in a flooded apartment. You lose all your possessions and have health issues. Um, and then those costly repairs, um, and then if there's insurance, like the government would have to get involved. So it's bad for people paying taxes as well to build on hazardous land. Those mature deciduous forest and large marsh home to multiple bird and mammal species, turtles, and amphibians. Provincial, municipal, oh, this is a separate sentence. Provincial, municipal, and TRCA policies require that future development be directed to areas outside of hazardous lands. And then the TRCA has reached out to the province for clarification on the matter and look forward to learning more about the proposed plans. They didn't say the types of species and but they did list out like reasons why this uh, proposal is a bad proposal. In addition to what I said in the earlier video about the subway being built there. Um, yeah, well, let's see. I can quickly look up Ontario Science Centre. See if there's any additional news. Um, oh, well, it's taking. Oh, news stories about. Yeah, so those other articles, Conservation Authority says it was not consulted on the Science Center, CTV News. Oh, so it's just more news quoting from the press release. Um, yeah, so I'm this news is going to be developing. There'll probably be more news about um, this, but it does. The lack of consultation is a feature of the government. Um, I'll go back to yeah, lack of consultation is a feature of the government because it's not just this site that they haven't consulted with. The government hasn't consulted with a lot of First Nations when developing with development proposals, and they haven't consulted with the public a lot of times. They've overridden um, a lot of environmental planning policies, as well as democracy, and ignored expert advice. So hopefully, the government of Ontario listens and does not develop houses on the Science Center building because it could be a disaster in Ontario and would result in the loss of natural spaces. So I'm going to stop sharing and yeah, thank you for listening.